Here's a list of my top 10 point guards so far in the 2024-25 season. Now, before I get into the top 10, there are a few players that deserve a mention, and in most of these cases, it feels off not including them, but you could only have 10 players in a 10-player list, obviously. And those honorable mentions are Ja Morant, Tyrese Maxey, Tyrese Halliburton, James Harden, Derek White, Anthony Simons, Jamal Murray, and Fred VanVleet. Now to the top 10. First, we have Lamelo Ball. The most staggering stat right now on Lamelo is that he's averaging 24.5 shot attempts per contest. Since 2006-07, only two players, Russell Westbrook in 2016-17 and James Harden in 2018-19, have averaged at least 24 shot attempts in a season. 24.5 would be the most since Kobe Bryant averaged 27.2 in 2005-06. With that kind of a green light, obviously LaMelo's general numbers are going to be impressive. He's currently averaging just a shade under 30 points per game, fourth most in the league, but he's shooting just 42.3% overall from the field. The only two players since 2000 to shoot under 43% on at least 24 shot attempts per game in a season are Allen Iverson and Jerry Stackhouse. Next, we have Damian Lillard. While Lillard will always be known for his tough shot making and navigation in the pick and roll, the thing that really pops out to me this year is he and Giannis Antetokounmpo's playmaking, especially from the paint. Both have done an excellent job finding shooters on the perimeter for feet set kick-out threes. Milwaukee ranks number 1 in three-point percentage off sprayouts from the paint. Teammates, when Lillard has made the pass from the paint, are shooting 44.2% from downtown. He's had a few dazzling scoring nights as well, including on November 2nd when he scored 41 against Cleveland, and on November 26th when he poured in 37 against Miami. Moving on to Steph Curry. While his three-point shooting is still elite, what's fallen off is his finishing in the paint. Through his first 30 games, he's only shooting 46% on drives. Never since at least 2013-14, when this stat started getting tracked, has he shot under 50% on drives. He's also not drawing much contact this season. Still, the Warriors are dependent on having him on the floor because their offense without him has been abysmal. Their offensive rating with him on the court is a team best 117.3, and it's a team worst 101.4 without him. Next is Trae Young. Trae is currently on pace to become the first player since John Stockton in 1994-95 to average at least 12 assists in a season. Only 5 players have ever done that. Stockton did it a league most 8 times, while Magic Johnson did it 6 times. Isaiah Thomas, Kevin Johnson, and Kevin Porter are the others. Trae has had 3 20-plus assist games already this year. The 22 he had on November 27th against Cleveland was tied for the 5th most since 2012 in the league and was the 2nd most in Atlanta Hawks history. Mookie Blaylock had 23 assists on March 6, 1993 against the Jazz. Trae also made this season's most improbable game winner, which was this buzzer beater from beyond half court at Utah on January 7th. Next is DeAaron Fox. Nobody so far has scored more points in a single game this season than Fox, who erupted for 60 points on November 15th against Minnesota. In that game, which actually was a Sacramento loss, he took 35 floor shots, which is tied for the 4th most in a game this year. Now, Fox has missed the last 3 games because of a glute injury, but the Kings have won 6 straight under interim head coach Doug Christie. In this time frame, Sacramento has the 2nd best offensive rating and the 2nd best defensive rating. Here we have Cade Cunningham. The likelihood is that this year's Most Improved Player Award winner is going to be someone from the 2021 draft class, which is turning into one of the best of this century. Cade seems like the most likely to win it at this point, although Evan Mobley and Jalen Johnson are legitimate candidates as well. Franz Wagner was in the mix for sure until his oblique injury. Cade has recorded the third most triple-doubles this season so far, with 7 of them, including 2 in which he had 18 assists, one on December 16th against Miami and another on January 11th against Toronto. That's the most assists by a Detroit player since Reggie Jackson had 20 of them on March 17, 2015. Next is Luka Donic. Luka, pound for pound, is probably the most skilled all-around offensive player on this list, but he's already missed 16 of Dallas's first 38 games this year and is expected to be out for at least another couple weeks with a calf strain. The big question going forward, aside from injury-related concerns, is whether he's already reached his peak. When he's been on the court this season, he just hasn't been as efficient, nor has he been drawing as many fouls as he has in the past. Still, the Mavs have their best offensive rating when Luka has been on the court this season, and his team is shooting just under 50% from the field when he's on the floor. One other interesting side note, playing with Kyrie Irving, there's a little bit of a drop in the percentage of shots he takes that are self-created. This year, it's 82%. 2 years ago, it was about 90%. Moving forward with Jaylen Brunson. Brunson is one of 4 players so far this season who has scored 55 or more in a single game. He had a double nickel against the Wizards on December 28th. It was the second time in his career he scored at least that many. The other time came last season in San Antonio when he poured in 61 points. Both these games went to overtime. He's one of only 2 New York Knicks players all time to do this more than once. Bernard King was the other. Brunson is also averaging a career high in both assists and free throw attempts. Interesting about New York this year is how patient they are on offense. They currently have the league's longest average possession time at 15.6 seconds. Here's Darius Garland. Garland has a legitimate chance to join the 50-40-90 club, which right now only consists of 9 players. It's been done 14 times total in NBA history, with Steve Nash having done it 4 times, Larry Bird twice, Kevin Durant twice, and then once each from Mark Price, Reggie Miller, Dirk Nowitzki, Steph Curry, Malcolm Brogdon, and Kyrie Irving. Garland also has the league's 5th best plus-minus. 4 Cavs players rank in the top 10 in that category. Among the 30 players who have taken at least 75 floaters, he's 3rd in percentage at 62%. Maybe most impressive is that he's only averaging 2.3 turnovers, which is a career low. And then finally, we have Shai GilgeousAlexander. SGA is on pace to become just the 2nd player in NBA history to average at least 30 points, shoot over 50% from the field, attempt at least 7 free throws a game, and attempt at least 5 3-pointers per contest in a single season. Kevin Durant did it in 2013-14, which was his MVP year with OKC. SGA also has the league's best plus-minus right now. The Thunder have outscored their opponents by 444 with him on the floor. He's also one of the best defensive guards in the league. He's 2nd in steals, and then among guards, he's 2nd in blocks. So that'll wrap up this video. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe.